Welcome guys! Welcome to another one of my videos. Today, welcome to Miko's Corner. How you doing guys? Today, not Napoleon. I know, I have to keep the suspense up, or otherwise I'm gonna finish the series and it will be done. So, I wanna, give a little bit of suspense. Today we're watching the First Crusade, Part 2. I've already watched Part 1 quite a while back. I'm sorry. But, coming back to it, Now, today, what we're gonna do, basically, let's remember what happened. First Crusade, Justinian II. I might be completely wrong here. Basically, the Byzantine Emperor calls the Pope Urban II. I don't know, in 1095. I need help. He says that everybody who participates in this crusade can go to heaven, no matter your crimes. All the knights are like, yes. And then a lot of peasants go and they get massacred, and now they're in Anatolia, the Anatolian region, and we'll see what happens. I'm sorry that's not Napoleon. I know you guys love the series, a lot of views, a lot of support, a lot of likes. Thank you very much. But yeah, tomorrow. So let's go in.
October 1097. 2 years had passed since Pope Urban II preached a crusade to help the Byzantine Empire in its war against the Seljuk Turks. Now, the First Crusade had reached the great city of Antioch. It was the last major Turkish stronghold, standing between the crusade and its goal, the holy city of Jerusalem. But Antioch was virtually impregnable, with its citadel atop a 1,000-foot mountain and too large to encircle. The giant Crusader army could only camp outside its walls and pray for a miracle. But that winter, they ran out of food. Horses, men, and camp followers began to starve. A trickle of supplies continued to arrive by sea, mostly from the Byzantine-controlled island of Cyprus, and they defeated an attempt by Radwan of Aleppo to break the siege at the Battle of Lake Antioch. But the Crusaders' situation seemed hopeless. Morale fell, as deaths and desertions rose steadily.
Seriously? That's how the First Crusade ends?
A Crusader fleet arrived with much-needed reinforcements and supplies. Finally, one night, Bohemond of Taranto and 60 of his men scaled a tower on the southern wall, whose commander had been bribed. As dawn broke, Bohemond's men opened the city gates.
Oh my god.
And the Crusader army poured in. They massacred soldiers and civilians alike.
That's very smart though.
While desperate Muslim survivors fled to the citadel, which continued to resist all attacks. Antioch had fallen, but now a giant Turkish army was assembled under the command of Khor Buga, governor of Mosul. First, he attacked Baldwin in Edessa, but abandoned his siege after 3 weeks and marched on Antioch. The Crusader army was exhausted, starving, and now trapped. They could expect no help from the Byzantines. Emperor Alexius, busy securing his own
Not Justinian, Alexios. Made a mistake.
Territory in Anatolia, had received false reports that the crusade had already been destroyed. Fearing a Turkish counterattack, he withdrew to Constantinople.
Who gave the false reports? What the fuck?
Then, inside Antioch, a relic was miraculously discovered. Supposedly the Holy Lance thrust into Christ's side at his crucifixion.
Whoa.
And the Crusaders' faith in their holy mission was renewed. Although heavily outnumbered, the Crusaders decided to meet the Muslim army outside the city walls.
They don't hold the citadel, I just noticed. So they took the city, but the citadel still holds.
With the zeal of religious fanatics,
Oh, only fanatics.
seeing visions of saints and angels, they charged the Muslim army.
I hope they win because they're the underdogs. I don't know. I hate fanatics. They're so you can have a conversation with them, but underdogs. Look how he didn't say the numbers, but just by the way he pictured them, it doesn't look good.
Which turned and fled.
What the fuck? Really?
Boga, accusing his commanders of treachery, possibly correctly, set fire to his camp and withdrew.
Jesus Christ.
The Muslim defenders in the citadel, witnessing this stunning victory, quickly surrendered.
I mean, give me the numbers.
In summer 1098, Fatimid forces from Egypt captured Jerusalem from the Artukid Turks. Al-Afdal, Grand Vizier or Chief Minister of Egypt, saw the Seljuk Turks as his greatest enemy, and even tried to make an alliance with the Crusaders against them. But the Crusaders were not interested.
No, they went to Jerusalem.
Instead, they spent 5 months around Antioch, foraging supplies and arguing among themselves. Stephen of Blois and Hugh of Vermandois had already given up and returned home. Now Bohemond of Taranto claimed the former Byzantine city of Antioch for himself, breaking his oath to Emperor Alexius to return such territories to him. Bohemond argued that the emperor had broken the oath first, by failing to help the Crusaders during the siege. Divisions deepened after Bishop Adhemar of Le Puy died from illness.
Was he
He'd
like
been
the
the
main
Crusade's
bishop?
spiritual leader and a unifying presence on their council. Meanwhile, Crusaders carried out a brutal massacre of civilians at Ma'arat al-Numan.
Well, that's not good PR. Yeah.
Pressure from the mass of ordinary Crusaders forced their leaders to put aside their differences and march south towards Jerusalem. Except for Bohemond, who remained in Antioch, where he declared himself prince.
Oh yeah, that's
As the
gonna last.
Crusaders entered Fatimid territory,
Surrounded
many
by other
local
Muslims.
rulers offered up money and supplies to avoid violence.
Okay.
Other villages had been abandoned. As the Crusaders neared Jerusalem, they found wells poisoned, trees cut down, and animals driven away. Anything that could help the Crusaders had been destroyed. On the 7th of June 1099, the Crusaders got their first sight of Jerusalem. Many fell to their knees and wept with joy.
It's not over, man. Just take over.
But they faced a serious challenge. They were now reduced to about 12,000 fighting men, not enough to encircle the city, and they were running out of food and water. Jerusalem would have to be taken by storm.
Storm? They're gonna storm the gates? Never mind.
The barren landscape meant the Crusaders had no timber to build siege engines. And on the 13th of June, their first assault, with a single scaling ladder, was easily repulsed.
Yeah, no shit. One ladder?
4 days later, 6 Genoese galleys arrived at Jaffa, where they were soon blockaded by the powerful Fatimid fleet. So the sailors took apart their ships and carried the timber to the siege at Jerusalem.
Well,
The Crusaders foraged more wood from the surrounding land.
Wait,
Enough to
they already broke the first walls of the city, I think. For the Crusaders on the right. I mean, they're already in the city, right? Does the city? I mean, it looks like the city has multiple walls.
build 2 siege towers. These mobile wooden structures would
Everybody
be wheeled
knows
up to the outer
what siege
wall
towers are from
and allow
Rome
the
Total War
Crusaders to
1, the
directly
first one.
assault the enemy battlements. One tower was stationed with Raymond of Toulouse's forces in the southwest. The other was with Godfrey of Bouillon's troops to the north. On the 8th of July, seeking God's aid in the impending assault, the entire crusade walked in procession around the city, finishing with a religious service on the Mount of Olives.
Okay.
On the night before the attack, Godfrey suddenly moved his siege tower to a less well-defended section of the city walls.
Smart. Nobody saw that? Fucking siege tower? I mean, it's nice.
The final assault began on the 15th of July, 1099. In the north, Godfrey of Bouillon's troops managed to fight their way across from their tower onto the city walls, establishing a bridgehead. Soon, they were inside the city,
Whoa.
and overcome with religious euphoria and pure bloodlust, they went on the rampage, butchering soldiers and civilians, Jews and Muslims, women and children. It was an orgy of shocking, prolonged slaughter,
Yeah, it's not a fun orgy,
barbaric,
that's true.
but not unique for the age.
Can you just imagine how shitty it was living in 1099? Dude, you live in a city, you're chilling, relaxing, having fun, wife, kid, and a fucking army comes, kills everybody, rapes your wife, kills your children, you die. I mean, thank God we're living in the 21st century. Oh,
The First Crusade had secured its goal in the face of overwhelming odds.
I didn't know that. I thought
And
they
just 4
failed.
weeks later, at the Battle of Ascalon, the Crusaders smashed a Fatimid relief army sent to recapture Jerusalem. Most Crusaders, their vows fulfilled, soon returned home to Europe. Only around 300 knights remained to defend Jerusalem under Godfrey of Bouillon, now named Defender of the Holy Sepulchre. The man who'd set these great events in motion, Pope Urban II, did not live to hear the news that Jerusalem had been taken. He died just 2 weeks after the city's fall. The new Crusader states that emerged, the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, the Principality of Antioch,
Wasn't Tripoli
County of
in
Edessa,
Tunisia?
lived on precariously,
How much?
surrounded by enemies.
How long? Century?
And the Muslim world would not remain so catastrophically divided for long. Soon it would unleash its own holy war against the Crusader states,
Of course.
turning the Holy Land into a battleground for almost 2 centuries. In response, more crusades would be launched from Europe, but none would ever match the bloody, spectacular success of the First Crusade. Research and art.
Well, guys, I hope you liked this as much as I did. It was very informative. I know the first part of this, the first crusade. I hope you go watch it. I did it a long time ago, like a week ago. But it was very interesting because I never knew information about. You always hear the first crusade, the Christians, first, second, third crusade, fourth crusade, but I didn't know that much about it. It's very interesting learning about it. Urban II, uh, uh, Alexandrios II. I think I'm right, or I might be completely wrong again. Uh, and they took Antioch, Tripoli, and Jerusalem. Jerusalem fell. Now I know that the kingdom of Jerusalem was a thing. I knew that it was a crusader state. I knew that it happened, but I didn't know that the first crusade was so successful. Because the only thing you hear about the crusades were that they were complete failures. But the first one apparently worked. Now I don't know how long they will be able to just maintain that status quo, so to speak, or their territory. But I'll probably find a video on the second, third, and fourth crusades. We might as well learn all about it. So yeah, guys, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this.